Hey, welcome to Mixed Movie Picks. And today I want to review Seventh Son with um, Jeff Bridges. And before that, I'd like to preface it with a little story about Jeff Bridges. Many years ago, when I was a midshipman, we would stop at certain ports and we would have a debutante ball. We would meet the debutantes of that town. They'd introduce us to, these young ladies. And it was like kind of like officer and a gentleman thing. We weren't officers yet. We were training to be officers. And it was in the U.S. Navy Reserves. And so we're stopping Monterey. And as you can see, there's Miss Kitty. So I just wanted to point her out. She is in the video today, and she's very thankful. She's helping me quite a bit. So we're in Monterey, and I meet this young lady at the midshipman ball, and her name is Beverly Goodfellow. And I didn't think anything of her name, nothing special. She just seemed like a really nice girl. She was a professional tennis player. She was my age. I was 19 at the time, and quite striking in my whites. Hey, now I got white hair, white everything. But anyways, so we kind of hit it off, and she asked me if I wanted to come to a party. And I said, yeah, sure, the next day. And it was a July 4th party in 1971. So I go, okay, so I'm not thinking anything of it. And I'm doing my miscellaneous work on the ship. And lo and behold, this black limousine comes driving up to the pier in Monterey. And it's got a two-star Admiral flag on it on one side of the front fender, and then the U.S. Navy flag on the other. And I'm like, and everybody sees it, and we're all curious, like, what's going on here? We're our captain, who's a lieutenant commander, he kind of went nuts. He sees it and he goes, oh, they do. Everybody on deck, all hands on deck, and we're all in our scrubs. We've been cleaning and scraping and fixing the ship as much as possible. And so we're all on deck, and out pops this lieutenant commander also, who's an adjutant for the admiral, and he's got the gold epaulette that says he's an adjutant. And so he comes up to our captain, he salutes the bow where the flag is, and then he salutes the captain. The captain says, come aboard. And he whispers something in the captain's ear. Next thing I know, the captain, is on the bullhorn. He goes, Midshipman Fahey, please get your whites on and report to the flag deck. So I'm like, oh man, everybody's looking at me, and I'm like, I don't, I don't freaking know what's going on here. So it's something I didn't expect. And so, anyways, I go downstairs and I get my whites on. You saw the movie Officer and a Gentleman with where he wore the whites and stuff like that. Well, that's kind of what we had. Those are the uniforms, the whites that we wore as midshipmen, pretending to be officers at the time. So I come up on my whites, and and as I get up on the deck, um, Beverly pops up out of the limousine, and she's wearing a really nice dress, and she's all excited, and she runs toward me, and I go toward her. She gives me a big hug, and the whole deck's looking at me, the whole crew. And by the way, the rest of that cruise, I was just teased mercilessly about it, which was fine with me because it was kind of like a badge of honor, a rite of passage, so to speak. So I get in the limousine. She takes us out. We go out to Pebble Beach, the 18th hole. Near the 18th hole, there's a house out there. It turned out to be Clint Eastwood's house, and her dad. Just so you know, her dad was a two-star admiral. Of course, I would pick the highest-ranking debutante at the debutante's ball. It was just my luck. Maybe I'll win the lottery too one of these days. But just kidding. So, anyways, we get out there, and it's Clint Eastwood's house, and there's nice benches and stuff. And so we're walking around, and I met Jonathan Winters, Claudine Lanche, and a couple other stars. I don't quite remember their names, but this one young man come up to me, and his name was Jeff Bridges. And him and his brother Bo were sitting over at this one picnic table with their dad and mom. And their dad was Lloyd Bridges, who I knew from Sea Hunt because I watched that when I was a kid. So I went over and with Beverly, and we sat there and had lunch with him. Had a nice chicken, you know, uh, corn on the cob, mashed potatoes, gravy, everything. It was really nice. Got to see the fireworks. Spent the whole afternoon with him talking. I don't remember most of the conversation. It was like, la da da. I was like all starstruck and stuff once I found out. But the Bridges were like, the boys were a little bit older. One was Jeff was maybe a year older than me, maybe two, and Bo was a little bit older than that. Very nice people. Had a great time. I think I stole some silverware to prove that I was there, which I've lost now. I don't have, so can't can't I can't back it up anymore. But we had a wonderful time, um, and that's kind of my connection with the Seventh Son, is that I do know Jeff. I met Jeff Bridges and spent an afternoon with him. Beverly and I did. It was a fun afternoon. Um, but the movie, on the downside, is kind of so-so. It's too many other movies like that have come out this past year, so it's pretty much the same. Um, Kind of a little boring and expected. And it had some big stars in it. Juliana Moore. It had Jeff Bridges. It had the kit from Game of Thrones. He started out in it, and I won't say anything because I don't want to be a spoiler. If you're going to see it in 3D. That's the best way to see that movie. IMAX 3D if you can. It is a little more expensive. Um, but it is kind of a fun movie. But like I say, I give it a one paw, 1.5 maybe tops. Darn it, I was hoping the best for Jeff. Anyways, that's all I have to say. So have a good day. And for Mixed Movie Picks, I'll see you next week when I'll do McFarlane and The Duff. Goodbye.